the Kwok Boys and Paul Barron get together to talk about Ripple and XRP Alpha, there were a lot of loose ends in this conversation. I'm going to read it and explain what it means to me. There are also a lot of other Ripple and XRP changes going around X right now, things you need to know if you own XRP. If you guys keep coming back for more information and you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing so. And if this information helps you in any way, kindly click like and write something. Let's start right away. What does Ripple want to do? At a high level, I think Ripple really wants to have the XLOP ledger. It's like having tentacles on the whole banking system that runs the world. As you can see, there is a secret road on the brokerage side, the treasury side right now, and a rail side on the stablecoin side. I believe it's when you start to see how all the pieces fit together. That's where you'll really start to see the power of what they've been building up. There are still some things that Ripple needs to do to be able to compete with JP Morgan. I have those pieces. I'll give them to you right after this clip lasts for a long time. So I think that's the real goal, to make sure that no matter what part of the financial system someone interacts with, they are touching some part of Ripple's technology in some way, even if they can't see it. I also believe that's also true of a lot of other tech companies that have really taken off. One great example is Facebook, which is now called Meta. First, they bought Instagram, then WhatsApp, and after that, they bought a bunch of other businesses. When people use Facebook, they often think of Meta, but a lot of people don't know that a lot of other companies like WhatsApp and Instagram are actually underneath Facebook. All of these companies used to be separate, but they were merged and became much more valuable as a whole. That, in a sense, is how I see things happening at a high level. In the end, there's a lot more that Phil might also want to talk about. Do you believe this is part of a long-term plan, Phil? Or do you think that these are just chances that Ripple is seeing and they're thinking, hey, we can't not buy this company? Yes, that is a great question. If you look at Ripple's approach from the outside, it's always been different from the traditional, well, I'd say traditional, but mostly cypherpunk strategy. I don't want to say anything that's not public yet. Crypto really began with Bitcoin, which I'd say is more in the cypherpunk style. Jen McCaleb's first post on Bitcoin Talk was about how XRP is a better cryptocurrency than Bitcoin. It was his plan. We need to build on what has already been done. That was the whole idea behind Ripple and where it came from. We're not going to start from scratch with this. We have to make do with the way things are now with the money. Also, check out what Larsson has to say. He always says that big changes in technology have always built on what came before, and I think what's going on with Ripple fits in with that style. People at Ripple believe that they should build on what has already been done and work with institutions. For the past 10 years, they have been following this plan. At this point, if you're still not sure what he means, here it is. Ripple knows that they need to work with the infrastructure that's already there in order to connect it to the new infrastructure that they've built. So Ripple has been planning ahead to get the parts they need to integrate their new technology with older systems. And if you don't believe it, Ripple has a whole team of really smart people looking at deals right now. Young people with beautiful minds. It's likely that you're not paying attention to Ripple's general plan here, right? By going through and picking up the pieces they need in a planned way, they can compete with JP Morgans of the world. I'll show you that information right now. He should finish his last clip here. However, that is what he means. The plan hasn't been to try to get rid of banks totally. Instead, it's been to work with them. Like other parts of DeFi have done, we're going to shut them down. It's going to kill JP Morgan, while Ripple has been more like, look, we're going to work together with banks and all these other financial institutions. So I think what you're seeing now and what we can talk about in public is this plan really coming to the fore. And Ripple is starting to make big moves to grab that and solidify what it's been building for 10 years. Okay, so what parts of the picture are Ripple? Not there. If you are just now learning about this, let me show you who they have hired. If you're new to XRP and don't know any of this, this is a great way to learn. To keep track of things, they bought a business called Medico in 2023. They were able to roll out Ripple Custody because of this. Ripple Custody and Medico are both companies that are going after the same thing. Fortress Trust is a trust that you have controlled. You have standard custody and technology that is tokenized. Rail was a new stablecoin, business-to-business stablecoin that Ripple just bought for $200 million. 10% of all business-to-business stablecoin payments happen through Rail. This will keep getting worse over time. I do believe that Ripple will try to acquire yet another part of the stablecoin system. You can also get the Prime Broker Ripple bot for 1.25 billion Ethereum. That's the secret way. Prime Broker for multiple assets that handles liquidity, repo, and collateral handling. Between $2.8 trillion changes hands every day on the repo market, so a lot of money goes through it. Besides that, G Treasury also worked with 1,000 business partners and 13,000 financial institutions. Oh my God, things are getting really bad. What are the things we're missing now? The first thing Ripple needs is a license to do business as a bank. I think they put in for that at the end of July. In the fastest possible time frame, it's usually about 120 days. In the past, it could take up to 9 months, but some people on X think we should hear back from the OCC soon about their banking license. The second thing they will need is a securities exchange or an alternative trading scheme. If they bought or started an ATS or DEX and got legal approval, they could trade tokenized bonds, stocks, and repos that are built right into the XRP ledger. Please keep in mind that Ripple is likely trying to get some kind of ATS system. Maybe Ripple could also try to buy a company like WorldPay or Stripe that works as a payment provider or merchant network. I believe we should be a little farther down the road. Some of these businesses are worth $20 billion to $60 billion. And Ripple couldn't pay that right now because of how things are happening. But if the price of XRP goes up to $20, $30, or $50, Ripple would have plenty of cash to do those things. Now that Prime Brokers is safe with Hidden Road, Ripple could move on to the credit markets. They have a credit lending and asset management section. Buying a digital lending company or asset management to take care of tokenized treasuries. Compliance and identity systems have also been a big part of Ripple's work here. A lot of countries are going toward digital IDs. Ripple wants to help those countries or financial institutions with KYC, AML, and all the other compliance features that banks need every day. Ripple will also try to get these last 5 pieces of infrastructure. After that, they'll go battle with the world's JP Morgans. This great thread was posted by Wrath Economy on Evernorth. Let me just show you some of this broken down. Please find below Evernorth's presentation for investors. It makes some things clearer. Not all of them are here, but these are most of them. Check this out. That's what he means, 6 and 9. But in this case, the thesis, the value proposition, the XRP investment, and the committed cash are some of them. Because we want this to be a pretty smooth film, I'm not going to read everything to you. You are welcome to pause it and go through all of these things, though. All of these were talked about in the material from the day before. This is the senior team that will be in charge. There is Ashish Birla, Matthew Sagar, Jessica Jonas, Meg Nakamura, and their companies here are really amazing. Some of them are from Ripple, Bank of America, Gemini, American Express, and IBM. There are also some very important people from the board of directors and the strategy advisors. There's David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse. Here is the important thing that will speed up growth in the XRP community. There is Zoni QX, Arcex, Meldaxiology, and Open Eden. These are the big pieces. Tokenized funds are what Open Eden does. You can see that beginning to grow. This is also where BlackRock, Ondo, and Ripple work in the tokenized treasury area. Palisade is also here. We also just talked about Ondo, of course. It talks about treasury for distinct assets. I love how the picture